They were 4 teams on the road to Minneapolis with 4 dreams. The Connecticut Huskies, who could make history with 2 more victories. The Georgia Lady Bulldogs, youngsters with high hopes. The Stanford Cardinal, aiming for their 3rd national title in 6 years. And the Tennessee Lady Volunteers, looking to bring a 4th national championship banner home to Knoxville. For one of these teams, the 1995 college basketball season would be perfect. Perfect. The official 1995 NCAA Women's Final Four highlights video is sponsored by Rawlings, maker of the official basketball for NCAA championships. The Connecticut Huskies had history in their sights. UCONN entered 1995 championship competition with 29 victories and 0 losses. The first team in Division I since Texas in 1986 with a chance for a perfect season. In first-round play, the Huskies dispatched Maine 105-75. Then took on Virginia Tech, cruising to a 91-45 win in the second round. 1994 Final Four participant Alabama was the next victim, falling 87-56 in the East Regional Semifinal. Connecticut overcame a tenacious effort by Virginia in their closest game of the year to win the East Regional Final 67-63 and a trip to Minneapolis. The Georgia Lady Bulldogs were anxious to erase 10 years of frustration. Georgia's most recent trip to the Big Dance was in 1985, and they wanted to get back on target. They handled Indiana easily in the first round, 81-64. And then defeated Louisville in the second round, 81-68. North Carolina State put up a good fight in the Midwest Regional Semifinal, but Georgia came away with a 98-79 victory. The next roadblock was the region's top seed, Colorado. Though the crowd in Des Moines was solidly behind the Buffaloes, the Lady Bulldogs squeezed out a 3-point win, 82-79, locking up an invitation to the Twin Cities. Stanford, like the other 3 teams in the 1995 Women's Final Four, has championship experience, with national titles to their credit from 1990 and 1992. The Cardinal put that experience to good use, handing Cal Irvine a first-round defeat, 88-55, and winning over second-round opponent Southern Methodist, 95-73. Defending national champion North Carolina presented a more formidable challenge in the West Regional Semifinal. But Stanford was up to the challenge, besting the Tar Heels 81-71. The West Regional Final matched them up against another Final Four team from last year, Purdue. But the Cardinal ruled 69-58 to earn another shot at a national title. The Lady Volunteers of Tennessee were hungry. They had not tasted Final Four competition since 1991, and Pat Summitt seniors did not intend to depart Knoxville without a detour through Minneapolis. Tennessee had an easy tune-up with first-round opponent Florida A&M, winning 96-59. Another team from the Sunshine State, Florida International, suffered the same fate in the second round, managing only 44 points to Tennessee's 70. Western Kentucky was the victim in the Mideast Regional Semifinal, losing 65-87. Finally, the Lady Vols sent 1993 national champion Texas Tech home 80-59 and took aim at the Target Center. A record-setting 5 overtime games were played during the 1995 first and second rounds. They included Southern Mississippi versus Southern Methodist in a West Region first-round matchup, and Oregon State versus Tennessee State to start off the Mid-East region. But vying for the title of Cardiac Kids were 1994 Final Four team Alabama, who needed 4 extra stanzas to knock off determined Duke in their East Region second-round game. And Drake, who played 3 overtime games in a row, first in their conference championship game, then in their Midwest Region first-round game against Mississippi, before finally falling to George Washington in overtime in the second round. The first national semifinal game matched up 2 teams well acquainted with one another, Southeastern Conference rivals Georgia and Tennessee. Pat Summitt's Lady Vols took a 22-point win when they played Georgia at Knoxville to end the regular season. The trip to the Twin Cities was a homecoming for Georgia sophomores Tracy Henderson and Brandy Decker. Both were Minneapolis high school hoops heroes.
We know their personnel because we played them before, because I think the way when we beat them in Knoxville, it could be a sort of revenge factor for them. But we have to go out focused on what we can do and not base what we do on how they play.
Henderson showed her stuff for the hometown crowd with this putback of a Saudi Roundtree attempt to start the scoring.
Gets a little seam, takes it baseline, shoots over Latina Davis. No good. Rebound in the lane. Georgia goes back up, and the ball rolls in for Tracy Henderson.
Back to Michelle Marciniak, far side. An entry pass goes in low, and a shot put up and in by Dana Johnson.
Lakeisha Frett's fall-away jumper scored the first 2 of the 11 points she would total for the afternoon, but they weren't enough to overcome the powerful Vols attack.
Roundtree in that high lane lost the handle. It's picked off by Latina Davis. Davis up that court against Frett, and she laid it in.
The Lady Vols out-rebounded Georgia, pulling down 51 boards to the Bulldogs' 33, and Davis did it again.
Davis looks, gets the pick from Ward, pulls up, fires long range, and hits. Latina Davis with 8.
Roundtree got a long-distance jumper to drop.
Way out on the right wing, Saudi Roundtree with it. She throws up a long one. She nailed it. It's a 2-pointer.
But Tennessee counterpart Michelle Marciniak can go the distance too.
Marciniak, though, throws in one over the Georgia defense.
2 seconds, 1 second in the half is coming to a close. An impressive first half, though, for Tennessee.
Henderson made the pretty one-handed hook. But Tennessee took the game firmly in hand. Lady Vols All-American senior forward Nikki McCray made her presence felt.
Nikki McCray spins and lays it in.
Right-hand corner, Marciniak wide open. Conklin underneath, layup is good. Georgia getting picked and screened, and no communication down low.
15 on the shot clock. They play it into McCray, who drives to the goal.
Georgia was unable to keep possession for much of the game.
Landers feeling he cannot fall any further behind. Roundtree on a drive, underneath, in traffic, kicks it out to Holland for a long 3. This one is good.
And even when they did get a good bucket, Tennessee immediately recovered the points.
Cross court over to Marciniak. Long 3 in traffic is good. And any momentum Georgia had was just killed. Michelle Marciniak, her second triple.
The Lady Bulldogs were young, starting 4 sophomores and a junior. They would have to make another run for the title in the future. The ticket to the championship final was in Tennessee's grasp.
I think Coach Landers has done a tremendous job in preparing a very young basketball team to get to a Final Four. I told him I hope to see him again next year.
We're down to 5 seconds to go. Georgia up the court. Bush launches a shot from the circle that misses. The ball game's over, and Tennessee wins it. Tennessee advances to the championship game tomorrow against either Stanford or Connecticut. That's the end of the ball game. The final score, Tennessee 73 and Georgia 51.
Game 2 on semifinal Saturday showcased Connecticut, which reached the Final Four with an unblemished 33-0 record, and another former national champion, Stanford. Stanford's team was a mixture of the new and the tried and true. Freshman star Kristen Focal already had one championship effort to her credit. As a two-sport athlete for the Cardinals, she was instrumental in their 1994 women's volleyball national title. Seniors Rachel Hemmer, Anita Kaplan, and Kate Pay all played on the 1992 NCAA basketball title team. The Huskies seized control of the game from the start, with 6'7" sophomore center Kara Walters scoring on a feed from junior guard Jen Rosati.
They lob it down low for Walters. She goes up and lays it in.
Anita Kaplan answered.
Starbird plays it in on the baseline for Stanford, and Kaplan with a shot that spins in.
Then senior forward Rebecca Lobo and Walters put their height advantage to work.
A shot missed, and Connecticut ends up with the ball. That shot attempt inside by Pay didn't draw iron. Meanwhile, at the other end, a shot is good by Kara Walters, her second bucket, and it's 6-2 Connecticut.
Rosati goes into the lane, dishes back out to Lobo, top of the key from three-point range, hits. Rebecca Lobo, her first 3 points of the game. It's 11-4 UConn.
Starbird back down the length of the floor to the basket, puts it up, no good as I was screened by some reporters walking by. Walters got the rebound. She'll hand it to Rosati, who's going to bring it up the floor for the Huskies. Connecticut sets up on the right wing against Rosati against Weidman. Bounce pass into the high post for Lobo. Now middle of the paint, Walters, 6-footer, rattles around and goes down.
Walters and Lobo made it impossible for the Cardinal to get anything inside, so they turned to senior guard Kate Pay, their three-point specialist.
Focal over to Pay, who comes in the front court, pulls up on the right wing for three.
A fired-up Hemmer picked up a steal, but UConn junior forward Jamel Elliott, one of the team's unsung heroes, retrieved the ball and the points.
Then it's Sales getting it back for UConn. She plays it to Jamel Elliott, and Elliott scores.
Though Kristen Focal did not begin playing with her Cardinal teammates until January because of her volleyball commitment, she had no problem fitting in. Jen Rosati wasn't having any problems either.
Sales up top to Berube, over to the right side, Rosati, long three is good.
The Cardinal offense began to suffer from bad luck. Their shot selection was good, but sometimes the ball just wouldn't drop.
Swinging hook shot that spins in and out, no good by Anita Kaplan. And it's on the deck and claimed by Jennifer Rosati. Berube up the floor with it for UConn. Out to Rebecca Lobo. She launches a three, and she nailed it.
Anita Kaplan tried to keep her team in the game.
Back to Kaplan in the middle of the paint, left-handed hook goes down. Nice two-player game from Kaplan and Pay. Anita with her first, now with four. Starbird brings it into Focal, bounce back to Starbird, who taps it over to Anita Kaplan for the layup. Beautiful touch pass by Kate Starbird.
But with plays like this from Rebecca Lobo, who is both an athletic and an academic All-American, it was tough going.
And halftime is here. Halftime score. Would you believe Connecticut 44, Stanford 20.
The second half opened on an encouraging note for the Cardinal, thanks to Anita Kaplan.
Starbird's in there along with Kaplan and Pay. Here's a shot good on the right baseline. Anita Kaplan starts the second half with her 8th point. Stanford with it. Scott plays to Kaplan right of the lane for a shot that's good. It's on target. Kaplan now with 10. And it comes to Lobo, wide open under the goal. A great entry pass by Weber, and Lobo has 14. That's her first second half basket. Kristen Folk away out on the right side. They give her the three, and she drilled it. Here's Kaplan double team on the right block. Out front to Pay, 2 on the shot clock. She triggers, it went in. 2-point basket, Kate Pay. Berube probing the defense. She spins it out top to Jen Rosati. In deep now to Elliott. She turns and scores. She posted up low and knocked it in.
That's a big bucket for UConn.
Rosati pushes it with a chest pass to Carla Berube now to Walters. She knocked it in.
Though Stanford had beaten UConn in 3 earlier matchups, life was unbearable in this one.
Final seconds coming off the clock. Now they throw it in, and this ball game is over. Final score, Connecticut 87 and Stanford 60. That's the end of the ball game. Connecticut moves on to the national championship game tomorrow against Tennessee.
And I wish we didn't have to play tomorrow. I wish we could just go home and enjoy this one. Fly back to Connecticut and live with this one for a long, long time. But if you're gonna try to get into the history books, you know, like we're gonna try to do tomorrow, I guess you gotta get up and you gotta play.
And I think Connecticut's playing their best basketball. I think Tennessee's playing their best basketball. And for most of the year, we were ranked 1 and 2 in the country. And I think you folks with the media, as well as all the fans throughout the country, you got what you probably wanted from the very beginning. So let's hope we can throw it up and both teams play their best.
I'm sure they'll play a lot better tomorrow than when we played them in January. I mean, I'm expecting them to play a lot better than they played in January.
The championship game marked UConn's second appearance in the Final Four and its second meeting ever with Tennessee. Rebecca Lobo took charge immediately with an inside layup.
Pam Weber's got it right side. She plays in the lane to Lobo. She goes to the goal and lays it in there. Rebecca Lobo gets the first bucket of the ball game, 2-0 Connecticut.
Latina Davis got the job done with a jumper for the Lady Vols.
Here's Pam Weber moving left to right in front of us. She plays into Rebecca Lobo under the goal now to Kara Walters, and Walters knocks in about a 4-footer.
Jen Rosati ran circles around the Big Orange defense.
4-2 Connecticut. Here's a deflection and a steal. Connecticut playing good aggressive defense. Rebound followed by Dana Johnson is missed, and now Rebecca Lobo comes out of there with the ball.
McCray, right wing jump shot, no good. Long rebound out to Elliott. Rosati clears it out. Here's a pass intercepted by Marciniak at midcourt. Marciniak pull-up jumper is good. Great defense by Marciniak, anticipating that push pass.
Michelle Marciniak followed up a Nikki McCray attempt, and the seesaw battle was on. UConn freshman forward Nikisha Sales, whose semifinal game performance was subdued, caught fire. The Huskies needed her contribution, especially in view of the troublesome turn of events to come.
Still short on the mark, but a foul called. The foul is on Rebecca Lobo. Left of the lane, she backpedals behind the three-point line. Out front now to Sales for a 3. She knocked it in there.
On to Ward, and Dana Johnson working the blocks down low for Tennessee. Pass inside Ward, fakes, goes up, and scores. She's fouled. She drew another foul inside. The bucket goes, and the foul is going to be on Lobo. That's her second foul. Connecticut, Sales gets a pick. That's a moving pick. That sure is on Rebecca Lobo. A moving pick on Lobo, her third foul.
3 fouls, and he stays with her.
The Lady Vols had a chance to surge ahead, and they weren't about to waste it.
There's a cross-court pass to the leaping Latina Davis, who shoots it in deep on the left baseline. It's a 2-pointer, and again, it's a 2-point game, 19-17.
Lobo is out of the game. Rosati came back in for her.
And she's playing with a couple of fouls.
Gray, a jumper right side. It won't fall for her. She's still without a field goal. She follows, though, and knocked it in there. Nikki McCray followed her own missed shot. She gets her first basket into Ward. Now a pass to Marciniak, driving inside, and she got it to fall. Boy, that was a tough shot by Michelle, but it bounces in, and Tennessee has its first lead of the ball game.
Long inbound pass by Sales to Weber. Weber now drives up to the perimeter, dishes off left corner to Sales. Sales back out to the top of the key to Weber, underneath to Elliott. Elliott into the lane, puts up a 10-footer and hits.
Though fouls were a definite factor in the game, UConn did not back down. They continued to play aggressive defense.
Davis drives right side, dishes off to Milligan, and a block called on Jen Rosati. So for Rosati, that will be her third personal foul as they have given up the lead, and now you have your 3 All-Americans. Kara Walters with 2, Rebecca Lobo with 3, Jen Rosati with 3. 6:08 to play in the first half.
The tenacious defense prevented Tennessee's accumulation of easy baskets, but their follow-up shots were getting through. Nakisha Sales, assisted by sophomore forward Carla Berube, kept the Huskies going.
Sales with a long inbound pass to Berube. Berube drives left, gives it to the baseline to Sales, who puts it up and in. Nakisha Sales with 7 points.
Tennessee back the other way, 31-27. McCray lays it in.
The Lady Vols expected Nikki McCray to score, and she did. But they were getting help from reserves like sophomore center Abby Conklin.
Marciniak in front court to Conklin, open for 3, out front, hits. You can't leave her open, and Conklin drills it.
With Rebecca Lobo benched, it was up to Kara Walters to maintain UConn's inside game.
I'll tell you what, she's got some fine post moves, and it's 36-32. That is only Walters' second basket, though, of this half. They haven't been able to get her the ball very much. 4-point game, 20 seconds to go. Tennessee can take the last shot of the half. Somebody's going to stay around on Abby Conklin. She just burned Connecticut a moment ago, so Elliott's got her. Clock at 10. Elliott behind the back, looking in low for Vonda Ward, out to Milligan. Milligan fakes, spins, going to put it up at the free throw line. Good! Milligan hits. Connecticut brings it up, and they're not going to get a shot off. Lori Milligan, with the clock rolling down, hits a big jump shot to send Tennessee to the locker room, leading 36-32.
The first half ended with a 6-point Lady Vol lead. UConn had been down at the half only once before during the 1995 season in the East Regional Final against Virginia, but they rallied to win that game. Gino Ariena sent Lobo and Rosati in to start the second half, even though both were saddled with 3 personal fouls. Michelle Marciniak started the second half scoring with a tray.
Walters and Elliott on the front line for Connecticut. Bounce pass, Passion Thompson in the corner. Skip pass, Marciniak puts a 3 in the air and hits. Marciniak with a 3-pointer.
That's a dagger right there, Bob.
Kara Walters responded with a turnaround hook. But Latina Davis proceeded to give the Lady Vols their largest lead of the game, 9 points. Four minutes into the second half, UConn faced a turning point.
Rosati drives inside, gives to Walters, who scored.
They didn't hesitate, especially Jen Rosati. She was everywhere, passing off to the inside, forcing the turnover, and running the ball in herself when necessary.
Rosati drives inside and scores. She took it to the goal for UConn. Only her 3rd basket, and now it's 43-38 Tennessee. Left side McCray. She put Elliott in the air, shoots, and it spins out, no good. Rebound out of bounds to UConn.
Then near disaster struck Tennessee. Nikki McCray, the heart of their offense, went down with an injury.